Joanne Bonifant from Richfield, and Alice Farina in Stamford. Come get your book. Yay! Awesome, guys.
Excellent. Happy May Day. Happy Shift Day. All righty. Tammy, I think we have a Friday update from you. Yes?
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I just want to throw out a quick reminder. I mentioned FHA earlier in the week. I wanted to remind you guys not to forget about 203K loans. They are my jam, and we are still doing them. I've heard some lenders have stopped doing them. We have not. We are still standing. Minimum credit score, though, is a 680 on them, and it can't be anything structural. So as long as it's like an ugly kitchen turns pretty or a bathroom, we can still do that. And FHA all day. So that's my happy Friday, happy weekend, happy selling.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And so Jen Henry just put in the chat that she likes my new sneakers. I have a story to tell you about my sneakers. So I'm going to tell you a little bit later on about the mastermind that I got to be a part of yesterday with Gary Keller. And at the very end of the mastermind, Gary was kind of giving us a tour of his den in his house. And just because every time we're on a Zoom call with Gary, he wants to make sure that we know he's not sitting in his underwear, right? He always kind of stands up and shows us his jeans and shows us his shoes. And yesterday he went and showed us his shoes, and they were exactly these Vans. So I have to say, because these were a birthday present from Lisa and Bobby Gomberg, thank you so much for my lovely Vans, because they make me feel just like Gary. All righty. So so with that, you know what? Why don't we just go there? We were so privileged yesterday to be a part of the Top 200 Operating Partner Mastermind, which is a private mastermind with Gary. And only about 150 of the operating partners who qualified showed up. I'm not sure what else they were doing. And yet, so there were 150 of us kind of one-on-one Zoomed with Gary in his house. And so the first thing I want to say is the only way, and P.S., your team leaders got to participate in the Top 200 Team Leader Mastermind today with Gary. I'm not sure how long that went. Ours went for 5 hours and 20 minutes yesterday. I literally had to leave the mastermind. It started at 10 a.m., a little after 4, about 4:15, to get ready for our 4:30 call.
It was about the same amount of time. I understand I had to leave a little bit early, but it went the full 5+ hours, but all 200 team leaders showed up.
Yeah, I'm telling you, these OPs, what losers, man. And so the first thing we want to do with that is to say thank you to you, because the only reason that we get to participate in those exclusive masterminds is because of your hard work. So thank you so much for allowing us to participate in those really special events direct with Gary. We promise that every minute that we spend there is valuable time to help us help you continue to grow and see through to the end of this. And so since there were a couple of you on that today, and I know Debbie was on that yesterday with me, any ahas that anybody wants to share from the Gary Mastermind that would be helpful and useful to the group?
Do we have 5 hours?
Yeah, how much time do we have, Rick?
Yeah, totally. I have like 9 pages of notes.
You each have about 15 seconds. How's that?
Sure.
Danny,
Deal.
go first.
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
I took one away from his interview with Keith Cunningham, which is current expenses consume future oxygen. And he told the story about the soccer team that was stuck in the cave with, like, you know, food that they had bought as snacks for their hike, and how when they got rescued, like I think it was something like 16 something days later, they still had like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and like they still had food left over, right? Even though the food that they had in there for like 16 days was like only supposed to be there for the afternoon, like their food for the afternoon, right? I thought that was a kind of an interesting lesson, when, you know, because we've been talking a lot about expenses in the past month, and it's not about cutting expenses to be cheap. It's about cutting expenses because that's the money that you're going to need down the road. That's your future oxygen. I love that.
And the piece of that I so loved was the concept of when you're not quite sure how long a crisis is going to last, right? You don't consume everything all at once. You've got to save some for tomorrow because you're not exactly sure how long it's going to last, right?
Exactly.
That's a great one, Dan. What else?
His emergency room analogy was like core to everything that he talked about, and how everything is urgent in an emergency room. And he had 5 steps to be safe and do the work. Oops, excuse me, I'm on the wrong site.
Yeah, I was going to say, those aren't the 5 that I had.
Sure, so sorry. Where'd my emergency room go?
I've got it if you
All
want.
right. While Debbie looks, I'll go. I like the recession is another name for exposure. It really exposes you and exposes your models, your heart, your people, your actions, and your money. So tough times are revealing, and there's a lot of things being told right now.
Yeah, that's really telling, and I think the other thing it exposes is character. I think that tough times expose really who you are. Gary has said for a long time that money is when money shows up in your world, it will expose you for who you are. You know, what you do and how you utilize wealth shows who you are. And the idea that recession is just another word for exposure, I think that's really, really telling. And it's I'm so glad Steve mentioned that, because all of these things are pointing us in a direction to where I want to end this conversation. Debbie, did you find your emergency room?
I did not. Isn't that just so fascinating? It's not.
Yeah, well, hold on a second.
I have it, Rick. I have it.
Yeah, we have it.
All right. Well, Rick ran out of the room, but I'll give it to you anyway.
There we go. Okay, we've got it. So
Five steps. Oh,
extreme focus.
there you go.
Extreme focus and intensity is number 1. Constantly monitoring vital signs. And what I liked about what he said about that was they're not looking at body fat, and they're not looking at cholesterol. They're looking at vital signs, the things that either make you live or make you not live. Constant communication. And then, oh my goodness, the ability to be flexible and adjust as you have to. And what's the word of the month is pivot, to be able to pivot quickly when you need to, and to be fast and working at the speed of urgency. You have to just be, you can't fool around. We can't wait for this to change to take action. You have to, when you're in an emergency room, you have to take action now. So I thought that was very succinct.
One thing that really got my attention when Gary said that there are some people that think that when this is, and I'm using my hands to quote, over, things are going to go back to normal. And it's not. This is a new normal.
No,
Totally.
don't plan on anything normal anymore.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for sharing that. We appreciate it. And so the where I want to just end on that conversation is the idea that the only way to really predict the future is to write it. All right. And so where I want to leave us this week, and as we cruise into the next couple of weeks, recognize that we are cruising down a road right now that leads to things starting to reopen, for good or for bad or for in between, right? Regardless of how you may feel about a reopening, we are headed in that direction at this moment, right? It is May 1st. We will likely not hit June 1st without some version of reopening, and that's going to mean a reopening of the market centers in some way, shape, or form as well. And so we all need to start getting our heads around what that's going to look like. And so after spending that time with Gary yesterday, my main focus over the course of this next weekend, and my focus with all of you for the next couple of weeks, in as specific a way as possible, is to really help each and every one of you really start to figure out what that looks like in your business. You know, are you running your business like an emergency room? What does that mean? How are we going to write? How are we going to predict the future by writing it ourselves? What does that mean for your income? how are you insulating yourself over what might from what might happen in the summer if we're starting to see a decrease in income, right, for the summer, or are we going to see a decrease in income, right? We each get to make those decisions, and so we're going to spend a lot of time over the next couple of days really working on some version of a program to assist you in moving through May, and that program is ultimately going to be a complement to the program that Gary's bringing you already, right? And so on May the 5th, the Pivot program starts. I will tell you, if you're a person who decides to be on these 9 o'clock and 4:30 calls every single day, then you should be enrolled in the Pivot program. It doesn't matter to me what you think about it. It doesn't matter to me the gripes or concerns about what you've heard or what it used to be, because the world has now completely changed, and the idea of spending 4 weeks with top people figuring out how to train our brains and then train our businesses to do battle over the summer, in the next 6 months, for the next 2 years, whatever that looks like, I think is going to be the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't make it. And I'm sorry if that seems a little strong, and yet I really can't I can't think of a better way to get your head where it needs to be than to participate in what KWRI is offering us, because that's just Gary giving his stamp directly to you, and then participating in what the Market Center is offering, so that together we all get to come out of this stronger than we went in. Any questions, comments, concerns about that? All righty. So again, mainly, thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do that allows us to spend time with Gary like that, because it was, I think it was 10.5 hours of really pure gold. So we appreciate that, and thank you so much. A couple of last things for today. The unemployment parade continues to roll on. I just wanted to show you, I will send you the link. Actually, you know what, I can probably put it right here. Let's see, is that gonna work? Oh, look, it will work. Okay, so there's a link in the chat box that is a link to this. And it's for those of you who are looking for additional information that's not necessarily coming from me. Where is it? Here you go. That link brings you here. And so it gives you the steps, right? We're in a 2-step application process at this point. It gives you step 1. It gives you some of the information that you might have struggled with. It also gives you some, excuse me, gives you what to expect next, including receiving that thing in the mail that says you have 0 weekly benefits. And then it talks about what step 2 is. Step 2 will be available next week. Step 2 is not yet available, right? And then it talks about the troubleshooting. What happens if, right? A number of you have been asking questions about what happens if, should I redo it? What should I do if? There's a whole lot of those answers right here for you. So I thought that would be helpful. That link will bring you there, and I will also email the link a little later this afternoon. Two last, oh, actually, you know what, Steve, do you have something that you need to talk about in terms of Red Day?
Yeah, down in Stanford, I don't know what's happened, Rick. I don't know what you did yet up in Ridgefield, but down in Stanford, we have the bags, the flyers, and the envelopes out, set up for you to grab, stacks of 10. There's a picture. Carlos set it up today on the black chairs right outside the elevators. So you don't need us. We're going to be replenishing the supply constantly. So just show up and grab the bags that you need and the envelopes that you need. And please only take what you need right now. Whatever the order is that you've given Robert, because you do need to do that first, just take those bags. You can always come back for more, but we're trying to, parse them out as we have them. So they are ready for you guys. So start getting them and start reaching out to your clients so we can start collecting food, and look for another email about the actual donation drop-off at the Lower Fairfield County Food Bank.
Excellent. And Dan, the Ridgefield pickup is going to be starting, is that starting Monday? Is that when that's scheduled to happen? You're muted.
Sorry, I actually don't have an answer for that right now, but I will be sending an email out today with kind of the process for that and when people and where people can pick that up. So, all right.
Beautiful. Thank you very much on that. And so our last two things are this, and it has everything to do with transactions and money and income. As you know, today is May the 1st. So besides it being May Day, as Alice is reminding us all, and the Red Day month, right? Are we doing Red Month or something this year, right? So it's also Red Month. It's also Transmittal Day, and so your MCAs are working really hard to close the month. And I just wanted to make sure that each of you were aware, just like we had the conversation last month. Both market centers closing very strongly in terms of company dollar. So again, thank you for all of the hard work that you do that creates all of that. And we do expect, like we did last month, to double book rent and some additional expenses to reduce some of the profits. Again, we're not going to have that whole conversation all over again, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that that wasn't a one-timer last month. We are doing it again this month. We may well also do it again next month, because it's June, July, and August are the 3 months that we're more concerned about than these months where we had pendings coming in, right? So just do know on the 21st, when profit share arrives, that profit share for these months will be slightly reduced. And what the idea is to keep that all going so that over the summer months, profit share doesn't evaporate or go away completely. And then the good news is that if we just keep booking business, all of those pre-booked expenses starting in September, they'll just start showing up as months where now we're hitting exactly our income levels with much greater a greater reduction in expenses, because we've already pre-booked the expenses in the spring, and so the profits just get bigger and profit share gets bigger in the fall. Right, so this is not a cash emergency issue. It's a cash flow strategy, right? And those are two very different things, right? Not a cash emergency. It's a cash flow strategy, right? Because where I want to end today is that you live inside of two organizations that continue to defy the odds and book business when a lot of other people are not out there booking business. And I'm not 100% sure how you're doing it. I'm enormously grateful that you are starting first with your safety, because here's the other thing. For those of you who are out in the field, you're all staying healthy, and that is the probably the best news that I can report today. And the idea that you're out there staying healthy and finding a way to continue to provide for yourselves, provide for your families, and contribute as a whole to these market centers is kind of astounding to me. So know that those numbers in terms of pending reports, May into June, all looking really, really powerful. And so we're really excited to be able to say to each and every one of you that you're going to be okay, right? And I can tell that because I think we're going to be okay, right? And the only way we get to be okay is if you're okay. So if you're not participating in some of that written business, reach out and wave your arms and say, hey, you know what? I seem to be stuck. Everyone else seems to be writing business, and I'm kind of stuck, so that we can help you through that stuck spot and get you on these pending reports. And to that, if you have written business and you haven't submitted your documentation and written green sheets, it is more important now than ever in the history of our companies that you participate in timely green sheets, right? Which means within 3 days of you having a transaction, you need to get that documentation in and produce that green sheet for your MCA, because we are making some really important decisions based on what those pendings look like, right? The pendings right now is kind of a daily discussion in our world to make sure that that we're providing enough support to you and to your business to make sure that you can continue to provide for yourself and your family. So please, if you have, I know you've seen some information go out from the MCAs in the last couple of days. If you have written a piece of business in the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks and you have not submitted your paperwork and written a green sheet, please get that done this weekend. I would love to have the MCAs arrive on Monday with a big, massive a pile of green sheets to have to sort through. And I think, unless you have any additional questions, yeah, any questions on any of that information that we just went through? No? Nobody?
Rick,
Should we do
I have a
some-
question.
Yes, Tammy.
Not about what you were talking about, although I 100,000% agree with you. But you talked about an investor seminar, or did I miss that, or did I dream it? Is there an investor seminar coming up that you're going to do via Zoom?
You probably did dream it, because I do know those investor seminars are the things that dreams are made of. And so you probably have been dreaming about a new one. You also may have heard me say that, yes, a new one is happening on May the 13th.
May the 13th.
You will have, Maria and I were just discussing this afternoon, getting that information out. Maria worked real hard to make sure that all those envelopes were printed for your Red Day project. And so now she's moving to collateral material for the investor seminar. So do watch for that latest Monday for you to start sending out. But if you want to do a save the date, it's May the 13th. That's a Wednesday. And you know what? So you tell me. I'm going to ask 3 people that I can see. I'm going to ask Fiona, Christine, and Jen. What time? 6 or 7?
7.
7.
Okay, Christine is mouthing 7. I can see her mouth moving at 7. All right, so we're gonna keep it the same time. So we will keep it a 6:45 start time, which really means 7, but don't tell your people that, because I want them there at 6:45 so we can start on time at 7. So we'll just keep it the same. We are looking for new and exciting to add into that as a benefit to, sorry, I just gotta mute everybody. As a benefit to your folks. If people want to come back a second time, that's awesome. If people haven't been able to come in the past, do invite. Here's the thing. People make money, right? The people who make money make it when things kind of go sideways. And so if things feel sideways, I want you to be having conversations with the people in your database to say, let's learn about how to step into and lean into the sidewaysness. Don't run in the opposite direction of what's happening. Let's figure out how to maximize what's happening. And you starting to look into being an incoming investor may well be that opportunity for them. So, and we know people are kind of sitting at home still, so we may lose that opportunity over the course of the next couple of weeks. So do look for that. Any other questions?
No questions, Rick, but I want to mention part of Red Day this year is our support of Circle of Care. There's going to be more on that, how we're going to help them with a whole big social media blast to build awareness. But this weekend, because if you remember, those of you that were on the call when they were on the call with us, they had planned a 5K, but they had to cancel it, obviously. So this weekend, they're asking everyone who's going to be out and about on a beautiful 70-degree weekend, if you're going to go for a run, you're going to go for a walk, that you sign up to do the 5K. It's just a fundraiser for them. So I know all of you should be out walking and running this weekend. So look for the email. I'm going to send it out, and then Dan's going to send it out where you can register to do the 5K. I think it's a $33 contribution to do it. I think that's the number, something like that.
Yes.
Again, it's a fundraiser for them. So if you're going to be out this weekend, guys, think of Circle of Care.
Love it. And the last thing we'll leave you with is, so that investor seminar is 2 Wednesdays from now, but this Wednesday is our first virtual bingo night. So at what time is that, guys? Do we remember?
It's 5, oh geez, I forget, 4:30.
I think we said it was 4:30 because we're going
4:30.
to
It's gonna
start
be
this
the
4:30 and then roll right into it. So, so figure out what adult beverage or beverages you're going to have pre-made and pre-mixed and pre-ready for your bingo opportunity. We'll be getting you more information over the weekend and into Monday with all of your bingo cards and all the fun we're going to have. So, and if you well, watch for more information on that, right? And so make sure that you reach out to anyone who's not on this call. Reach out and invite them as well to join us on Wednesday night. All right, guys, I think that's all I have for you. Have a spectacular weekend. Be out and about safely, but be out and about. Beautiful, gorgeous weekend. We will see you bright and early Monday morning at 9 a.m. Be well, have fun, stay safe.
Thank you.